Daniel, what do you think? Big day for them? Is it going to pay off? Will it make a difference on the bottom line?
Becky, I think what's going on is that if you look at the Prime membership, each year Amazon makes it more and more valuable. And so we now are seeing a shift to one-day shipping. There are options to get goods delivered in your car, in your house. There's obviously more and more content. And so while the day in and of itself we think will drive some incremental sales, we see this as a bigger story towards an extension and an expansion of the Prime offering, which ultimately makes the Amazon platform and the ecosystem with Alexa going into more and more third-party devices become a lot more valuable, which is ultimately what's critical to creating shareholder value over the next few years.
Sure. Hey, Michael, I was talking to some people behind the scenes who actually have some access to data on this. They said that in terms of ad costs, units sold, the level of discounts, media budgets, allocated product units, it was all up more than twice as much as it was yesterday. I mean, they are definitely making this a bigger and bigger deal. What do you think in terms of both the bottom line and what Daniel was talking about this impact of being able to lure in more Prime actual members?
I agree with what Daniel said. It's really the financial impact is modest when you think about, the context of an entire year and the holiday season. But when you think about, what's going on at Amazon, which is growth is slowing. And as growth slows, it's important to make sure that your customer lifetime value is as high as it can be as you go out and get new customers. And so by really locking in consumers into the Prime flywheel and the Prime offering bundle that Amazon has, it really helps them elongate the relationship they have with each individual household.
How much money do you think they are pulling forward into sales today, or how much of this is additional money that's being spent?
I think it's a combination. I think there's a little bit more, as Becky, as you were saying, you go online and you see things, and there's some impulse purchases.
Mine was impulse purchases. I couldn't believe it because Apple stuff was actually 30+% off yesterday, which that never happens to see things like iPads and the watches off like that.
So I think that's right. But I think for many people, as they see the benefits of the Prime membership, this is going to attract them to join, and then they're going to see over what we think the coming years, the Prime membership will become more and more valuable. And that ultimately is going to create a lot of value for that consumer's household as they're going to be able to consume more things.
Does it mean they can continue to ramp up the price for a Prime membership and not get any pushback for it? Because so far they haven't.
If they're adding value, Becky, I think that they can. And remember, the cost, for example, to create content, all of those are rising. And so if you look at Amazon's profit margins, they've shown that they're able to balance both growing, increasing price where appropriate. But remember, for many goods, they do cut price, right? So it's a balance.
Okay, marketplace question. So one of the things that happens over these 2 days is if you're on their marketplace, you end up having to lower your price too to try to match Amazon. In some cases, Amazon is losing money on its products. And so you have all these other retailers who actually happen to be quite upset about this. These are not just upset as in...
Are they forced to do it, or they just have to compete?
Have to compete.
Yeah.
And when I say, yes, have to compete, they don't have to.
Right.
And these are people who are not Walmart who's upset about this because they're a rival. These are people who are ostensibly partners of Amazon. So there's an interesting sort of phenomenon taking place where you have people who are supposed to be in business with Amazon and their partners effectively taking losses to help support the Prime membership. What do you think of that, and what do you think that's going to mean long term? Because to me, this whole marketplace issue, you're talking about what's happening in Washington today, that's where actually things get complicated.
I think it's a balance. And in the retail industry, obviously, there are periods, certainly around the holidays, certainly perhaps around Prime Day now, where there will be some losses, but you do see greater volumes, and that can ultimately lead to profitability. So I would expect retailers and those third-party providers to continue to be attracted to Amazon's platform, but it's a balance between compete and cooperate. And so if those third-party sellers, which they appear to be doing, are finding value in being on the platform, I would expect the growth of their businesses to continue.
Michael, very quickly, what does Walmart do about this? Doug McMillan saying, yeah, we were behind, but they're moving up pretty rapidly, too.
I mean, I think Walmart's always going to be behind because Amazon just has this distribution, flywheel happening, and they're just better at, delivering things and at the whole e-commerce, part of it.
But Walmart's saying it can use its stores as distribution centers, too. I think they have 20 distribution centers versus the 100 Amazon has, but they've got stores all over the country, too.
That's true, but, there's a big difference between a huge Amazon fulfillment center with robots and totally optimized to move products in and out versus a retail location where consumers are coming through all the time. And I would just say on the last point, like I think it's super important that Amazon's not really brand friendly, right? And when you look at the categories they've underperformed in, things like retail and home, where brand is a little more important, they haven't been able to really crack the code there as much as they have with some of these more commodity like high velocity products. And I think that's an important strategic issue for Amazon going forward.